Mark here, and welcome to the 10-Acre Woods. So we have had a few birds come in. This time of year is notorious for that. End of season, people have some extra birds that they don't want to house over the winter months. So they contact us and we bring them in and put them in the barn or out with our other ones. What has happened is, the last couple weeks, I guess, I've shown you the bantam hen that's been sitting on some guinea fowl eggs. So we're going to head in. The girls are out there right now. We'll head in and see some little baby Keets. So update on our hen that is sitting on guinea eggs. We're in the barn here and we're just getting things ready to move her into a larger cage and to put her in the back area.
She's so angry.
She's broody.
She's so angry.
Well, we think she's got, what, 3 or 4
Mama
under
said
her?
4, but she had eggs that were unhatched.
Okay.
So we gave her another day in here to see if they would hatch.
So we'll see what happens.
You good, Mom?
Yeah.
Come here.
Well, our first look, there they are. Looks like what, there's 4?
So still just 4?
Yep.
Oh, that's a cute little one. Little two-tone.
Yeah, I know. He's really cute.
You definitely got all the colors.
Don't jump.
Good job, Mama. Yeah.
Have to put that water lower.
Okay, so this is the multicolored one. And if you look right on the end of the beak, you can see there's a little dot. I can focus in here. The little white spot on the end, that is called an egg tooth. And that's how they get out of the shell. So they'll tap, tap, tap away and turn around, and then they'll knock off the top, and then they hatch out.
Here's the color.
Yeah. Nice coloring. Looks like a little chipmunk. They're ready for breakfast.
You stay out.
They know exactly where to go.
I said Piper.
Now this is the point where Paula, the one in the center, can spit, has been known to spit, and it's usually at her son Marley there on the other side. And you can usually tell because she puts, her nose up in the air like that. Alright, so Mama is in her new cage with her 4 little ones. Now going to the back here. So we have one of the 3 Sarama roosters that came in. We lost 2 of them, obviously again to the crow. Same thing that happened to Atlas back about a month ago. So we had decided, just like Atlas in the past, he's been inside. So we're gonna have to keep the little one inside until the crow issue has been resolved, if it will ever be resolved. It seems to be fine in the spring. It's later into the summer. Crows are smart. They have a good memory, so they'll come back if they're able to. If not, then they'll move on to the next farm. Now this little mama here, big mama, she's been laying eggs, so we put her back in here, and she has her clutch of eggs back there. There's quite a few of them, but she hasn't been sitting yet, so we're keeping an eye on her to see if she is going to sit on these eggs. Now these again are guinea eggs, and there's no shortage of guineas. People are always looking for guineas because they do control bug populations, especially ticks. So I've put a camera up here to keep an eye on her so we can watch her from the house and see what she does at night if she settles down. She doesn't seem to be too settling right at the moment. This past week we received some other chickens. These ones here came in. We were told they are silkies, but none of them have any kind of silky trait. So it looks like just a barnyard mix of chickens. They're fairly young. And the story goes with them is that winter is coming. The people that hatch them out, it was their first attempt at having young. And they didn't think they were going to do very well, but all of them survived, which was great news. But they just weren't ready for winter. So they contacted us and we took them in, as is a lot of the cases that we get in around this time of year, is people just don't have the means to keep them over the winter.
We switched it up because I noticed they were picking through their food. So now we free feed their choices. So the only thing in the main feed bin is oats, or wheat and barley. And then we have canola, flax, supposed to be oyster shell, which is full. And so we'll fill these up with the choices. And I find that they're really going through the canola oil. But that makes sense because they're molting right now, which will help with the new feathers and everything coming in.
Yeah, so the main feed Tara's talking about is a container. It's a little hard to see. It's down in there, and what it is it's a furnace ducting that we've installed into this wall cavity here. And onto the other side, we've got this here, and this is the wheat and the barley.
Wheat and barley.
And then we've got, we just had put plexiglass up here and siliconed it into place, so it actually uses that wall cavity. Now, if you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're using an inside wall cavity, because exterior wall cavities are either insulated or they're going to get pretty frosty, and you'll develop some ice in there. So here is the ducting here on this side of it. It's just gravity fed. And then of course their choice of what they need. And usually what we'll do is the oyster shells are mainly for winter time. It's just an added calcium and added grit for them. We also do fish meal for protein also, because during the winter months they're inside and they're not getting those bugs. So the last step in the chicken feeding is we do, some grains need to be soaked. So these are peas, and are there lentils in there?
Peas and lentils.
Yeah.
Soak 24 hours.
Yeah, so the peas are hard to digest. So by soaking them for 24 hours, it softens them up, and they really love those.
The one girl gets in it all the time.
Right there.
Get out!
It's like, I want that one on the bottom.
Why?
The scratching instinct.
It's like I need a thinner one so they can't get in it.
Yeah, maybe.
I have more of these trays. I think I'm gonna... Hang on, I'll be back.
Okay, girls. Let's give that.
Get in it. Play with it.
Let's give that a shot. Start off with the rooster.
An aspiring writer and her 3 friends, all in their early 20s, together try to make sense.
Well, that's better. I can see them pulling it with their beak to dig in, but... Oh, yeah.
Same one?
Well, I don't know. Let's just see what she does. Yeah. She almost fell. Well, I think it's a good deterror anyway. See, they're still going to pull them.
Really? Stop it!
Well, what are you going to do? Are you going to stay out here the whole time?
Trainer.
Bad hen. Get off the dinner table. See, they're still gonna pull
Right?
it forward like that.
Stop it!
Yeah, throw them out. There, have some outside. Well, if it's a little lower, maybe that's something we need to do is put a little bit less in so that they're not able to. Well, it's all a learning curve, right? So, you know, as we move along.
Well, and I just cleaned it out in here, and there was so many peas on the ground.
So we started out with that bin in the wall, and then we moved to a couple containers, and then we've expanded out to more containers just to give them a more, a more variety, so that they can choose from, and they know what they like. So.
The ducks, they don't eat it as much as the.
Oh yeah.
They're starting to grow.
Yeah. So in here. This is kind of open to the outside, to the yard. So this is an area that like Fernando would come in, and he would come in here to get some food. We've got, some of the birds that are out in the yard with the guinea fowl when they are out. Now, I did have a comment that I just answered no more than an hour ago, I guess. And somebody said, well, if the guineas are hatched on yard, then they'll be more like chickens and they'll stay around the area. That is true to a point. Now, the guinea that we have here, I believe, are all hatched out here. And we have had them wandering around, but they just wander further than chickens do. So they will come back in the evening, but they tend to head off, and we're right by the highway. So we want to keep them off the highway. They have been spotted along in the ditch. So in moving forward, we'll have to see how things go. They're likely going to be inside for the rest of the season, over the winter, along with, of course, the little ones here and whatever we get out of the other hatching. And then come spring, we'll give it another shot, put them out in the yard, but we'll monitor and see where they are, and we'll have to lock up the ones that aren't adhering to the rules.
So here we have, this is the main grains. This is the oats, barley, and wheat, which is our main for the birds. And then in the winter now, the goats and the sheep will get some barley and oats. Thanks to Tracy, I now have a whole bunch of containers, which is great because I use these containers to sort my feed and whatnot, and it keeps it safe from any of the bugs that can get into your dry feed, and or dampness or whatever, spiders, dust, whatever. So anything from cat food, because we get the odd cat in, even though we're not a cat rescue. Cat food, dog food, it fits very nicely into these containers, and it's easy access because they're nice lids that open up. And then the larger ones down here have the these ones have your larger feed, like your alpaca, rabbit, chicken, and chick feed. So like the hen in there, the reason her poops are different smells because we've got her on a higher protein ration for the babies in there, so she'll just eat that, and that's why. What else? These bins are just full. We actually got silos on the way. So a lot of these bins will be able to be stored in the silos. But our canola oil and everything we get in bulk, so we have
canola seed. I say canola oil too.
Oh, canola seed. So that we can store it when it's in season, and then during off seasons we have enough to cover when we need it. So I'm just vacuuming and cleaning up this area because before winter it gets very dusty. Yeah.
So this is the getting ready for the winter. Even though a lot of you people in the south are probably basking in some heat. We up here in Canada are starting to get into some chilly temperatures.
Well, and a lot of the fields have been done, so the dust it gets crazy, even though you can't see it. but it sits. So I'll go through and I'll vacuum everything now and probably 2-3 times over the winter, and keep it nice and fresh air in here. Wash the windows because it's very dirty.
Yes, fly poop. So with winter coming, we are getting ready to close up shop. Close up the inside shelter area here. Now what we had done in the past, we actually picked up a door, a big sliding barn door with rails. Actually the rails are up here. These are the rails, and then there's hangers that go in them, but the whole door idea, I think, is more so for stalls, which is, you know, the traditional way to do it. And by no means are we traditional out here. So I think what we've done in the past here is we've closed off half of this opening here, just so that there's a smaller opening, so that it keeps any kind of wind out. And then on this area over here, we have the, as you can see, it didn't work out as well as expected. The type of wood we used just didn't work. Even though it was stained and we thought it was somewhat water sealed, it's just delaminated. So it's not really a great idea for that. So we may come back to that later on, but I think more of building out an awning here might be a better scenario for that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take and roll out construction poly. We're going to run it right across here, and likely seal it up against this green stripping here, so that this is all poly that goes right around and keeps the wind out, keeps the air out. Fernando, look at those feathers. His new feathers are coming back. So it's been 2 weeks now since I made a post on Facebook about Fernando going into his molt. But you can see all of his new feathers coming in. So it'll be a while longer, but he's working on it. His tail feathers should be here. Turn around, buddy. Yeah. So his tail feathers, you can actually see the brown. What are you doing? This boy, you know, I'm walking around and he's an ankle biter. What do you want? You want some attention? Is that what you want? Oh, silly. Yeah, it's always this guy, Mr. High. You know, whenever somebody's at your ankles, Fernando, are you my bodyguard? Good job. You keep him away. He just wants attention. Oh, these animals. So Piper and Petey. Now what's interesting is yesterday, Petey here was out back. So off of the deck, so it's a little hard to see here, but we have a raised house, a walkout basement. And basically we didn't build the house in the ground. So when we're out back on the wraparound deck, we can look out over the property and look at the animals. So Petey was back there, and I went and I walked out the door. It was a nice day, and I looked, and there was Petey looking up at me. Because they kind of know, because what we usually do is we'll take we've got apples. This time of year people have been donating apples to us, which is great, and some extra garden supplies that people can't use. So when I saw them, I thought, okay, well, I'll grab an apple and I'll throw an apple out. And what was interesting was, one of them was an overthrow, and it bounced and rolled and rolled and rolled back fairly far. He didn't know where it was. So he started using his nose. Now, pigs' noses are 2,000 times more sensitive than a human nose. So they can really sniff things out with that thing. And what he did is he started to head back, and then he moved over, and he went off course, and then he started sniffing, and boom, his nose led him right to it. So I'll show you that clip here, because I reenacted it, because of course I didn't have my camera at the time. I went and grabbed my camera and then filmed this. All right, you ready, Petey? Okay, go get it. Okay, it's over. It's right at the base of that tree. He's sniffing. Remains of pieces of apple that fell off of it. No, you're going the wrong way, Petey. Oh, there we go. Back on track. And he is getting closer. There we go. Good job, Petey. Now, further discussion as to getting ready for winter. Now, this building here, you can see, has some poly on it right now. The far side here does not have any poly. So what we'll do is we'll be closing that in. We used to use plexiglass years ago, but you know, taking it down and bringing it up and it cracking, and it was just a lot of unnecessary work. So here's one of the rabbits in here. That's their little entrance door, which will remain open and accessible throughout the winter. Now, the water for them isn't as important because they do have access to snow, just like wild rabbits do. But we make sure we give them at least once a day some fresh water so that they can drink. Now, they do have their little shelters out here. There's 3 rabbits and there's 3 shelters. So they each have their own little room if they should choose to do so. In here, oh, we got a Billy Idol rooster. A Polish. It looks like a scaredy cat, a scaredy rooster. And then we've got the other 2 rabbits in here. Now, this door here, it's got a screen on the top, which I'll have to close. This is the access door going out to our hay storage for the boys up front. And then this area here is for the geese and ducks, with the exception of the Muscovies. So what we're going to do is the Muscovy ducks, because they are native to South America, they're used to a more equatorial region. Now, you will find them in the wild in certain places. Florida, I've heard there are Muscovy ducks that are wild in Florida as well as in the UK. Now, those areas don't go down to the temperatures that, of course, we go down to here. And we've kind of established that Muscovies cannot really handle temperatures below 10 degrees Celsius, minus 10 Celsius. And the reason why that is, from my understanding over the years, is ducks will have they have muscles that are tucked underneath their feathers around their legs, and they're kept warm. But Muscovies don't. So their muscles extend down into their leg, and then what can happen is their leg or muscles can freeze and they just fall over, they can't get around, and they eventually perish. Ducks will actually use tendons as little remote controls from those warmer muscles tucked up underneath, and that's how they're able to deal with the cold weather. Muscovies is another bird that generally comes in the wintertime, or in the fall, late fall, because people either don't know about it and are planning to move them off, or they tend to lose a couple and then they contact us and find out what they're doing wrong, and they'll either make those necessary changes or they'll ask if we can take them in here. So that's kind of how that works with them. Now, with the geese and the ducks that are going to be in here, Muscovies will be likely inside the barn where it's warmer. Now, we have been feeding water in all these little containers here, strategically placed, so that everybody gets a shot at the water. We put another one here, which turns out to be like an ice volcano. So I think what we're going to do this year, a little bit different. We're going to house them in here during the night, and then during the day we're going to open up this door, and we are going to put their water out here. Oh, here you boys are. Look at you. What? What are you doing, Goofy? Oh, Billy. Hi, Carl. Every time I come home from work and I drive down the driveway and I see these boys out there, I always roll down the window and say hi to them, and sometimes it startles them. You know, the car is driving in, they would hear the car fairly easily, but I guess they're focused on eating, and sometimes it startles them. But they look up, so they know their names, right, buddy? Yeah, winter's coming. It's gonna be cold, and look at that coat. Somebody had commented about his coat. In the springtime, he was looking a little light. I guess when he shed quite a bit of his coat off. So we had put some coconut oil on there to make sure his skin wasn't drying out, and we also put some. Look at Billy. We also put some fireplace ashes, and that works good too. Yeah, you're gonna put yours up too. Yeah. I call that the Homer Simpson look. So we used fireplace ashes, and we use that on all of our goats to get rid of parasites. You can use diatomaceous earth, or also known as DE, but you want to make sure, because it's such a fine powder, you want to make sure you watch breathing it in, the animal breathing it in, or yourself breathing it in, because it can cause some respiratory discomfort. All right, boys, we're gonna move on here, but it was good seeing you. All right, we have Duck and Duck. I think in the last video I wasn't sure which ones were which, but this one here, Duck, has one band, so it's one duck, and the other one doesn't, and so her name's Duck. Then they came in with those names. Duck on the right, it looks like more of a duck than Duck. She looks a little bit larger, so maybe she's just more of a duck. So there you go, Duck. And how's Sheldon doing? Sheldon, buddy. What are you doing, buddy? You ready for winter? So what's going to happen when winter comes with Sheldon? It's likely that we will put Sheldon inside. And the reason why he is back into this area here is because Levi has been picking on him. Now, we could introduce Levi or Sheldon in there and kind of monitor it. But Sheldon works well as, in doing therapy. So, he had a tough time coming into this world when he was younger. And he's kind of his own cute little self. But he's worked really well for other animals that come in, and we generally use this area as a stepping stone for getting into the other area with all the animals. So Sheldon's got his own little job, and he's kind of he welcomes all the animals to the farm. This is where everybody is. Okay, we've been feeding them their hay back in this area here. Terry usually has a wagon, and she just kind of pulls up, and it's just nice and easy to feed. And when I was telling you about the story with Petey, so I was up on the deck up there, and of course throwing down, and of course you've already seen that video, and how he went back and used his nose to find where he was supposed to go. I'm having problems figuring out who that is. I believe that is Petunia. They're the same color. It's mother and daughter. And Yeah, so this is Billie Jean here. Okay, so I've still got it, but Billie Jean is getting closer to mom's size. Usually they're around 18 months, 2 years. I find that they're, although they're close to that now, they're about 18 months now. And then this is Holly, so Holly and Billie Jean are the same age. But in taking a glance, they're the same color, and usually I'll look for their horns. Billie Jean's horns are a little bit smaller than mom's, but they're going to be growing too. Hi, Turbo. Hi. You're not Turbo. You've got spots on your ears, but not on your face. You are Daisy. Oh. And here's Daisy's buddy here, Tulip. Oh boy, it gets difficult every time. Every time we add in a new animal, Turbo's actually over there. Turbo! Hi, bud! Okay, yeah, the wide face. See, he doesn't have the dots on his ear. Well, he's got a few little dots. Hey, bud? Yeah. And Marley. Marley, Daisy, of course the other Daisy. Daisy the pony. We've had quite a few Daisies over the years. And Blackie Bronwyn. And Meadow and Levi. Now on the other side of the fence, I'm not sure if I showed you this in the last video, I might have. We had a tent on here that goes over an umbrella. So this was kind of a screened-in patio in the garden. So the straw bales running across and the new raised beds here along the side. So in conclusion on what's happened this year, with building everything and doing the straw bale garden, we found that the straw bales just didn't have, enough material in them. Probably too much carbon material, not a good balance, and they worked all right, but they didn't work as good as we hoped. So Tara has been slowly converting areas into this style of bed, and it runs around the perimeter of this entire garden area. And eventually, I'm not sure how fast it's going to happen. If she'll probably get to these areas in the spring, I would imagine, and maybe just use the bales in here for another year. But eventually, I think what we want to do is we want to do raised beds throughout. We've still got a sunflower here. Oh, looks like one didn't quite do so well. It was quite windy the other day. You can see here that there's moisture inside. So what they've done this past week, because it has been getting cool, is they closed off the door here. So you can see how it's retaining the moisture. I'm not even sure how you get in there. I guess this is kind of a temporary door. I do have a zipper that we can cut and then mount on here, so we can make this a zipper door. It looks like what they've done is, oh, there's magnets there. Oh, how ingenious. Look at that. Okay, I thought they had taped it. All right, so there we go. Ooh, it's actually, yeah, pretty warm in here. And I guess you can just kind of magnetize it back on. It's not meant so much for closing it when you're in here. So in here, yeah, it's actually nice and warm in here. It's pretty cool outside. So this has been doing very well in the cooler. And here you can just see the tomatoes. They're 3 feet tall, 3 maybe 4 feet tall. They're not. They didn't do as well as the ones out in those in that mixture. Now the Brussels sprouts didn't really do that great, and the reason for that is we had kind of a bug outbreak. So they kind of chewed all the leaves off. So it looks like Tara went and she cut off the leaves. She cut them back and trimmed them in hopes that we'll still get some Brussels sprouts that come out of these sad looking plants. That works well. Huh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The power of neodymium or rare earth magnets and some tuck tape. That works good. We actually harvest those out of old hard drives. So I tinker with computers and electronics. If there's a hard drive that's not working, I usually take it apart and harvest some of the parts out of it. There's some rings in there that are kind of neat. You can make some wind chimes out of it. And then of course there's a couple neodymium magnets in there. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about anything here on the farm or anything that that I didn't bring up in this video, please leave it down below in the comments. Your like is appreciated, so if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps out our channel, helps to show YouTube that people are liking my content and thus showing it to other people. Sharing the video is also very much appreciated. So until next week, have a wonderful one, and we'll see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.